What's up, beautiful people? I know what you're saying. 2 videos in one? Let's go! I wanted to kind of do another video, kind of recapping the month of May. Kind of show some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly that the Padres have had so far. All of you diehard Padres and all of you casual fans that do end up watching, I wanted to go ahead and show you why we may be having some success and some failures. Going to be looking over some batting stats, some fielding stats, some pitching stats, some eyeball stats, like stuff that I think I can see maybe some problems or maybe some good things going on. Just kind of going to recap the month of May and try and find why we're playing the way we do with such inconsistencies. I know a big word that's going along right now is roller coaster. Why we may be having some success on the road compared to at home, and righties versus lefties, which is a big stat that I want to jump on in this video. But I don't know, just want to talk some more Padres baseball with you guys. I know I already made a video recapping the Marlins series. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and see it because it's absolutely phenomenal because you get to see more of my face. But go ahead and just look at the month of May and see, and kind of not just May, but up to this point for our Padres, and go ahead and look at some of the good and some of the bad. Let's do this. I know I've said it for 20 plus years, but I got a feeling this is the year. God, Tatis is such a sexy guy. Keep the faith, baby.
1 year soon, the baseball gods will smile on the San Diego Padres, and we will have a parade.
Stay vibrant, Friar Faithful.
And now your handsome host, Beto Diaz on Friar Field Talk.
So jumping right back into it, I'm going to start just going over some stats. I'm going to throw some stats out. I'm going to show some stats. We're going to look, like I said before, I'm calling this the May Mound Visit, kind of go to the mound, try and figure out what's going on, give you a second to breathe, catch up, know what's going on, know what something could be going wrong. Hopefully the odds will be ever in our favor. I just finished watching the Hunger Games, which I know is crazy because it's 2024. But I never watched the ending in like the last 2 films, but I just watched it. But I just wanted to throw that in there because I've been kind of hyped about it. But anyways, going to be looking at some pitching, going to be looking at some batting stats. Going to talk a little bit about Schilt, see what my opinion is on Schilt and maybe what you guys might think about Schilt. And then hopefully we can always stay vibrant. So go ahead, let's start and look into this really quickly. The first thing I want to go over, let me get it here, is the standings. So obviously our Padres are 30-29. If the season ended right now, we would have the last wild card spot. As you see here, the Braves would have the first. This is obviously the wild card. The Braves, the Giants, the Padres, 30-29 record. Obviously, the Cardinals have less losses than us, but they have not played as many games. So whenever I look at the standings, it's a little bit. I look at it a little differently. I usually just look at the losses. So with 29 losses, I wouldn't put us in the wild card race, but it's up to you. Stuff to look at. Well, obviously in our last 10 games, we're 5-5. Obviously, we lost the last game to the Marlins. We have a +5 run differential. When you look at all the remaining teams that are kind of in the mix, go ahead and scroll down here because you can see my face. Cardinals -35, Cubs -10, Pirates -29. We are the only one with a positive. Even the Giants, who have played really good baseball lately, have a -19 run differential. Obviously, the Braves are not a wild card team, but with how well the Phillies have been playing, they currently have the #1 spot with a run differential of 40. But going back to us, the one that really sticks out is this home record. We are 13-19 at home, 19 losses. We go down the list. You're looking at the Mets. You're looking at the Marlins in the National League that have a worse record at home than we do. Kind of insane. But then you go and look on the road, and we're 17-10. We have 10 losses on the road, which is the best in the National League for all the wildcard teams and teams that are fighting in. Obviously, even the Phillies are 17-10, the Dodgers 17-11, and the Brewers 18-13. But 17-10 on the road, it's fucking awesome. It's what you want to do. If you can manage to get maybe even 5 games above 500 on the road, you're looking at success. Right now we're 7, but the major issue obviously is that home record. I'm gonna go over some stats over the month of May. For the bullpen, we have had not bullpen, but pitching altogether, we have the 11th best ERA, first in FIB, and first in Ks. Second best walk rate, and the first best strikeout and walk rate altogether. We are going to watch. Obviously, we play one more game in May, but up to this point, we are 15 and 11 in the month of May, and we've won 6 of our last 8 series. You hear that stat, and you're like, man, that sounds pretty good. You've won 6 series, and here you are complaining and bitching. Well, yes, but some series, we overperformed, and some we really were underwhelming, aka that Colorado Rockies series and that Yankees series. Obviously, the Yankees have played hot baseball, so I'm not too mad about that. But that Rockies series was really, really abysmal. But yeah, just some telling stuff right there from the standings alone altogether. I'm going to go ahead and jump on into the hitting statistics now. So as a whole, the Padres are 17th in the major leagues with 56 home runs. I'm going to go ahead and change this to average. As you can see here, we have the 5th best average in baseball. We are batting .255. It's a little bit. I'm going to zoom this in. I know it's kind of a stretch to see. So hopefully this helps. There we go. Like I was saying, 5th best average in all baseball team stats wise for batting. That's good. I mean, you can see like in years past, we always had problems with the sticks. This doesn't seem like one of them. Although we do have some problems with runners in scoring position that I'll go over in a little bit later. But this is pretty good. Obviously, our main problem that I see here is the long ball. In baseball, we rank 17th in home runs with only 56 home runs on the year. I did have a stat here. With runners in scoring position, the Padres have the 18th best runner in scoring position average, batting .254. Obviously, not that great of numbers there. I wanted to go and see. Here it is right here. Also, is it zoomed in for you guys? No, I'll zoom it again real quickly. Zoom. There we go. So Padres are right here at 18. 18th best with batting average. Like I said, batting .254, the number right here. Not a recipe for success there. Not terrible, but not great either. I know last year, runners in scoring position were the absolute death of the Padres. It would seem like whenever someone would get in a runner would get into scoring position, we would not bring him in. So we've had an improvement from last year, but last year we were batting like 190 until almost June, I think it was. So seeing us bat .254 here is kind of a blessing if you look at it that way. Not too horrible. I'm going to go ahead and jump around here again. This is the statistic I wanted to show the most, you guys. The Padres against left-handed hitters this year. I'm sorry, I should have zoomed this in prior. Go ahead and zoom it. I have to go all the way down. So here's the top of the line standings. And at the bottom of the line, here we are. .225 batting average against left-handed pitchers. I think out of all the categories and stats I was looking through and trying to find a main reason why the Padres may be playing inconsistent roller coaster baseball, this is the one that stood out the most to me. We're batting .225 against left-handed pitchers. Only the Brewers and Mariners, which is kind of funny because the Brewers have been playing pretty good baseball, have a worse batting average in all of baseball. This is the ugly, boys. When you're in the third to worst at anything in baseball, it's got to be a major red flag. I think this is our main red flag for hitting. Obviously, we've had some really good breakout players with Profar this year who's playing lights out. Cronenworth that's been doing a lot better. I'll look at some individual stats here in a second. Just going to go down the line of the good. Arraez, obviously, the guy is phenomenal. He's one of the purest hitters in the game. Jumping on now to pitching, El Fuego has really stood out in terms of toning down the good. The bullpen has been okay. Cease has been really the one starting pitcher that really stood out. Although the last couple of starts, he's kind of gone a little bit too lenient, too lax, if you'll say, and he has not looked as dominant as he has had in the past. Obviously, it's still been okay, but not as he had started. So those are some really good bright spots. And then I want to talk about the bad. A major one that I kept seeing a lot. I'm going to go ahead and change this again. Campusano. His average has now dropped to 230. At one point, he was hitting the ball harder than any other Padre, and now he's been really kind of shaky. Most of the time when you would see Higashioka come in, usually when Waldron would pitch, you would think, man, we're not going to get no fucking hits from the bottom of the lineup. But now it kind of feels a little similar with Campusano. I'm a little worried about him. And the main worry that I have of all of the players, I don't want to say Manny. I know a lot of you think Manny right now is really selling. He's not looking good at the plate. I acknowledge that, and I think with the amount of dollars we're paying this man and the responsibility and the role he has for our Padres, he needs to be better. He's batting .237 right now with only 5 home runs. Kim, who has been also really miserable at the plate, batting under .220, has more home runs than Machado. Kim has 7 home runs, hit his 7th yesterday against the Marlins. Sorry, I had something in my throat. But Manny has been a shell of himself, coming up with a lot of big spots in the game and just showing really disappointing at bats, really disappointing approaches at the plate. Although I am worried about him, I'm not worried as I am with El Nino. El Nino has shown also to be a shell of himself. He does have 9 home runs and he leads the team so far, and 27 RBIs, I believe it, or 29. But his numbers are really down in almost every single category up to this point of the season. Doesn't seem like himself. There was a whole article with Kevin Acee. Again, for those of you that don't know, I can't fucking stand Kevin Acee. I think he is a fluff-writing, asshole, bullshit con artist that tries to get anything he can for the dollar and only thinks about himself and has no regard or even interest in the Padres whatsoever. That's a high extreme example that I use for Acee, but I really don't like him. However, he is the major beat writer for the Padres for the San Diego Union Tribune, so his writing is still kind of gospel in terms of tier list of people that have information on the team. He came out and basically said that he had an interview with Tatis and said he felt swagless. He hit a home run the other day against the Yankees when we got fucking shelled and didn't do his usual skip at third, didn't seem very excited, didn't praise God or anything at home plate. So, I mean, it's obvious coming from El Nino's mouth that he doesn't feel like himself. I'm a little worried about it, and whenever Nino seems like he gets down in there, he's a very emotional player, so as we all probably know. He's sexy as fuck, and I love seeing him play the game of baseball. It brings me a lot of joy and happiness. But if his swag's not there and his mentality and attitude's not there, I don't know if there's something off the field or what's going on with Nino, but if that's not there, he's going to struggle. And for the amount of money we're paying him and the amount of player we expect him to be and have seen in the past, El Nino has really disappointed me so far. I 100% believe he's capable of breaking out of it. I 100% think he's able to start hitting the ball a lot harder. There was a stretch where he was just not finding any holes in the, finding any holes, I don't think you have the problem with. Finding any holes on the baseball field. He was hitting the ball really hard and just kept getting off for outs, and it kind of started messing up with his mentality. Maybe it's transcended a little bit more from there. But yeah, the bad, unfortunately, Campusano, like I said, El Nino, the runners in scoring position numbers with 254, the ugly with the third worst batting average against left-handed hitters at 225. That is ugly, ugly. Machado being another part of the good, of the bad, of the ugly, being a part of the ugly. For the player he is and the player that we need him to be, he's not producing. And I love Machado. I love him very much. One of my favorite players in the Padres. Completely transcended this team when we signed him. But he's got to be better, man. He's got to be having a better approach at the plate. There's been too many examples of left-handed pitchers that just fucking eat him alive on sliders. Even right-handed pitchers just going outside of the zone, knowing that he's going to swing over the top of it. There was an at-bat against the Marlins where I think it was first and third with one out in the third. And I think it was still a 3-1 game. And completely in reach, especially runners in scoring position. And I honestly, for like the first time ever, was like, well, we're fucked because he's not going to do anything. And it's pretty shitty feeling because to my family and friends, my close friends that know me, I'm very wish-washy. Like I said in my last video, I grew up with a kind of a split end. My mom and my dad are both diehard Padre fans. My dad being a little bit more on the right side and being very pessimistic and trying to be realist, which I take a lot of. And then my mom trying to be more positive and trying to find the good things about the Padres. But if we're being realistic, we fucking sucked for years now. And I'm used to disappointment. But seeing Manuel Machado, the way he's been lately, I'm hoping it's just a slump. I think it's just a slump. However, for 2 months, he's been disappointing. There's no way around it. So he's part of the ugly for me. Xander, also part of the ugly. He had looked awful to start the year, and now he's out for months on end till the end of the summer now with that shoulder injury, although he does not need surgery, so that's good. Another part of the ugly, the inconsistencies. The backup catcher with Higashioka is almost guaranteed out. And another one I'm going to pick is Musgrove. I'm a little iffy on what I want to say about Musgrove. I feel like he's injured or he's battling a lot of aches and pains and he's not himself. But with a 5 ERA and the player that we know and have seen him in the past, it's disappointing. And with their 30-29 record, you see an average team on paper. But us diehard Padre fans and maybe even you casual fans know that we have the talent. We have shown it and displayed it in the past. We have plenty of people that can play very competitive and good baseball. Just to see the inconsistencies and to find just, I don't know, the range of emotions with this team is unbelievable. It's like one series you think, holy fuck, we're unstoppable. We go on the road. Fuck yeah, we're taking the plane. I don't give a fuck where we're going. We're probably going to win. You come back home and tickets are so fucking expensive and there's so many people at the game and we're cheering and we're rooting for our boys and they disappoint so much. So I know it's rich talking about us after a series win against the Marlins, but just a lot of inconsistencies. I did want to jump back. I kind of got a little distracted. Talk about the pitching now. Go ahead and load this here. This is the individual statistics for the pitching. ERA leaders, obviously Cease 3.29 has elevated a little bit with a 5-4 record. Michael King 4-4 with a 4.09 has shown some really nasty shit, but also has his inconsistencies like with the long ball, leads the majors in allowing home runs. Waldron, who is kind of crazy, he's been really good in his last few starts. You can check out the last video to find out some more stats on him, but his last 4 starts, he's been incredible. 1.96 ERA, 25 Ks in his last 3 starts. So as a 5-starter, he's been really, really good. Darvish, obviously 4-3. He had that really nasty stretch with the 3.20 ERA. The whip altogether looks all right. You look down the board, Cease 0.96, King 1.27, Waldron a little higher with 1.37, but Darvish 1.07 is phenomenal. Whip obviously walks and hits per innings pitched, a very big statistic for baseball. The average as well, Waldron being the exception with the 261, and Musgrove being a major exception with the 305 batting average against. Numbers that just they stand out for pitchers that you know are capable of pitching well. I'm going to move here to a more team-based statistic as well. Going down the list, the Padres have the 13th best ERA in all of baseball with a 3.90. ERA, a collective whip of, let's go down here again, 1.21. Pretty good statistic there for whip. But obviously, if we're going to try and find a problem, if I really want to get really down for it for the pitching, I still believe it starts with the starters. I think that they have shown brilliance so far this year, but the major inconsistency, it just feels like you flip a coin kind of like, okay, what Darvish are we going to get today? Okay, what King are we going to get today? Is he going to allow 4 home runs in 5 innings? Or is he going to throw 7 and allow 3 hits like he did against the Dodgers? So it's just a major tug and pull, and it's infuriating and frustrating to see these boys play the way they do with such ganas and will to win on the road and be so disappointing at home. Just trying to find some statistics behind this, guys. I know it's really hard to find stuff, but one thing I also wanted to look at was the strength of schedule rankings. So what this does is basically takes the average and statistics against the teams you have played, and it also takes the teams that you have to play. And a number that really stuck out for me, so far the Padres have, let me find it, going down below, the 10th hardest schedule in all of baseball with 14.50. That's going against the average opponent's rank. However, with teams remaining, the Padres have the 5th best strength of schedule. This basically means that our schedule gets easier. So the fact that we had the 10th hardest schedule so far in all of baseball, and the fact that we have the 5th easiest schedule remaining gives me a little hope and optimism that maybe we can pile up a couple of games. Obviously, with the 30-29 record, you see a lot of the stuff that you can improve on. You see a lot of stuff that have been bad. You see a lot of stuff that's been good. You see a lot of stuff that's been ugly, kind of the point of this video. But with the strength of schedule being so far, obviously, we're about to enter June. A lot of baseball to come. July and August are probably going to be the telling months for this baseball team. But with the 5th easiest remaining schedule in baseball, it gives me a hope that we can find some runs, some pitching, some good stretches where we can win a couple games in a row and beat teams that we're supposed to beat at home, aka the fucking Rockies. We did manage to take 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. Could have easily been a sweep with Darvish on the mound, but again, that inconsistency that we've shown, it just feels like, with the exception of Profar, Robert Suarez, Luis Arraez, and maybe Dylan Cease, every Padre has been pretty inconsistent. You might even want to throw in Merrill there just because he's a rookie. He's played a really good baseball. Kind of goes up and down. Started off the season really hot. Still batting close to 270, so that's still pretty good for him. But you take all those guys out, and you have major inconsistencies across the board with Darvish, with Musgrove, with King, with Waldron. You move on to the bullpen with Enel, with Matsui, who has looked a little bit more locked in recently, with, I can't say Estrada because he's breaking fucking records. Just guys that you've seen just like have like that Harvey Dent fucking thing about them. And it's infuriating to try and find a reason. Hopefully with these numbers and stats that I've showed you guys, it gets a little bit easier to understand. In case I've been like just blabbering and kind of going all over the place, which I tend to do. I don't do a script in these videos. I just talk Padres. So I kind of jump around sometimes a little bit. But our batting has been really good. We have I'm going to look at it again, the 5th best batting average in all of baseball. However, the long ball has been really crappy. We have the most amount of AB. I'm going to go down on the team statistic here. I'm going to read it off for you guys. We have the most amount of ABs. We have the most amount of hits in baseball. We have the 5th best batting average in all of baseball. And we have the 6th best on-base percentage, highest on-base percentage in all of baseball. So you hear these stats and you think we should be way better than one fucking game over 500. But then you look at all the bad stats we have. We have the 7th lowest launch angle in all of baseball. Launch angle basically means home runs, extra base hits. With the higher launch angle, you have more home runs, you have more hits, you have more doubles, you have more triples. Like I had said before, the 18th best runners in scoring position batting average, 13th most home runs in the National League. So, and that's for just hitting. When you go back to pitching in the month of May, the 11th best ERA for starters. First in Ks, which is significant in all of baseball. They have the most strikeouts in all of baseball pitching-wise, and the 2nd best walk-to-strikeout ratio in all of baseball as well. You find really good numbers here, and with these numbers and statistics, I'm telling you, you would feel like we're at least 4 or 5 games over 5. But we still struggle around that mark at 500, and it's infuriating and it's frustrating. But one last thing, I'll go back to this again. I just like to zoom in on my face, show how beautiful I am, show just eye candy for you guys. I'm sure that's why you all tune in, right? But go back again to the standings here. 30-29 record with the 10th hardest schedule so far. I'm going to choose to look on the positive side. Like I said before, I have a mixed range of emotions. I flip-flop all the goddamn time when I'm happy, when I'm not, when it comes to this Padre team with the major inconsistencies we've had. But I'm going to choose to look at the stats and realize that they can't lie. With so many good things coming our way in the top 5 in major categories of baseball, like I had said, batting average, strikeouts, ERA, strikeout to walk rate, bullpen. I forgot to mention the bullpen is the 13th best in baseball with a 3.90 ERA. To me, that's pretty good. Could be better. Obviously, I feel like a lot of times those bullpen numbers can be inflated with guys like Tom Cosgrove with a 10 that got sent down. Brito, who had a really tough stretch there in the beginning. I'm going to choose to stay positive. This team has too much talent and almost a track record now. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but a track record of being able to pull some wins together, kind of like out of a magician's hat, right? Pull a rabbit out of the hat. I'm going to choose to believe in the stats and believe that we can figure it out. I'm hoping that maybe we can have some more success from down in the farm. I know Dylan Lesko has been pitching a lot better lately. He's raised to now the number 3 prospect for the Padres. I'm hoping we can get some more from our call-ups. Obviously, the Randy Vasquez, he's 0-3. Those spot starts type of thing, I think we can improve on a little bit. But I wouldn't say the sky is falling. And I know for those of you on Twitter and those of you that like to, bash our Padres, which I'm right there with you sometimes, it's very warranted. I know it feels like the sky is falling, but I'm here to tell you that we have some good stats, and we're too good of a fucking ball club to not be able to make the playoffs. With all those things that I've mentioned, I just wanted to make this video to talk to you guys about why we may be struggling and why we may be having some inconsistencies. Hopefully I answered some of the questions, and hopefully I gave you some eye-opening ideas of why this team may be struggling at home and being good on the road. But that's really going to do it for this video. Looking at the month of May, again, 15-11, 6 out of 8 series for a win. Although it doesn't feel like it, does it? It feels like we're barely getting by. It feels like we're winning games we shouldn't. It feels like the other team's outplaying us almost every game, it feels like sometimes. But that's pretty good. If you win 6 out of 8 series every fucking month, I guarantee you're in the playoffs. With a 30-29 record, I'm remaining optimistic. I'm going to look back on this video in May and think, man, I was fucking spot on. I'm remaining positive, and you should too. A lot of bad stuff to look at for the Padres, but a lot of good stuff too. Stay vibrant. I know Schilt has been up and down for some of you guys with his comments and interviews. Kind of comes off of a kind of a dick to reporters. I'm not one for loving reporters, okay? You know how I feel about Kevin Acee. I wanted a whole rant about him. But they're asking the questions that need to be answered about the inconsistencies with this team. And with the expectations that we have with them, they're warranted. They're questions that need answering. And comparing him to Bob Melvin last year, I think he's made a lot more better decisions than worse. He's cost us a couple of games for sure, but what manager doesn't, Kind of comes off of a dick, but if we manage to pull it off, I'm not going to give a shit. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be a Schilt rider for all I care. So let me know what you guys think about the team overall, the statistics I brought for you. I know this video is a little longer. I did want to go a little bit more in depth and show some statistics behind the team. I'm staying vibrant. I'm staying beautiful. You should stay beautiful too. Keep packing the stands. Don't listen to the naysayers that say your money is for nothing, although it is fucking expensive. You all look beautiful at Petco Park, and I hope to see all of you guys again soon. I'll probably do a month of June recap as well. Hopefully it is even better than this one. I'm remaining positive. I'm remaining vibrant. You should too. Have a good weekend. We play the Royals this weekend. Another really good team, but we're on the road. We'll fly high, baby. Fly high. We beat them fish. We can beat the Royals too. We all royalty. We're Padre fans, baby. Stay faithful. Stay vibrant. Peace.